Hi guys, Devin, Icarus Precision here. Just going to go over the main features on the 365 Ace grip frame for the P365. This is the 2.0 version with the flat grip pattern on the side. So that's version 2.0. 1.0 versions have the palm swell. That's literally the only difference between the two. All the other ergonomic features are going to be the same. So 1.0 equals palm swells, 2.0 equals flat sides. That's all you need to remember. Now, the biggest features that we've got that are different on here as opposed to the OEM, number one, you are made out of 7075 T6 aluminum on this guy. Perks to that, it is some added weight without adding too much, but then it is also extremely heat resistant. So if you did shoot this guy a lot, you will feel some temperature come into the material, but not too much. It's very good at dissipating heat, and it also has an extremely high rigidity. So not that you ever should, but if you did end up in the point where you crushed this guy, the aluminum should hold up pretty darn well. We've tested it rolling over it with a 3500 Dodge pickup. I'm not exactly sure the curb weight on that. But that is more than enough, we think, stress ability on that, especially for a micro compact carry pistol. This is the XL version. Again, this is my personal one. So I have the longer slide on here, and then I have the flat blade trigger that comes with the XL FCU, and I have an extended magazine on here instead of doing the longer grip. I just like the shape of this grip a little bit better than the XL. Everything's personal preference, but I like this one better in my humble opinion. So feature-wise on this, big things to note, obviously the material, and then our beaver tail back here is extended. So it goes a little bit further back on your hand, and it helps reduce muzzle flip when you're firing the weapon. So you've got that option readily available. It's a little bit wider as well to add a little bit more comfort. That way all of the pressure isn't coming down in a narrow contact patch. It's more spread out. So you've got multiple different contact points, and it's a little more dispersed when the energy's hitting you. So you've got the wider beaver tail, the extended beaver tail. Our pattern here is a square grip pattern. I don't know if you guys can see that there. We'll get a little bit closer. But what that is, it's still an interrupted grip pattern. So if you clamp down on this guy, you won't feel like this thing's going to run off on you. You will be fine. Even though it doesn't necessarily look as grippy as like a heavily knurled grip or a diamond grip pattern. It still offers plenty of interrupted grip on there, so you feel like you've got a good lockdown on it. And it's not aggressive though, so it doesn't chew up your hand, which is nice. Again, we went for comfort and functionality in this guy. So you've got your wide beaver tail, you've got your square grip pattern, you have an exaggerated finger notch down here underneath the trigger guard, so it goes up higher and it goes back deeper. Basically what that's doing is it's reducing the distance from the front to the back, making it so you can get a really good bite on it. And someone with smaller hands can grab it, but at the same time, we didn't cut it down so much that someone with big hands feels like they're going to go around it twice. Nice balance there. That same area with the curve here, there is a finger bump in the middle. Basically, it's not a flat front grip, but we feel like the curve is gradual enough that you do have some flexibility in where you're going to place your fingers. So you can go lower, you can go higher. You know, there's some room to play as opposed to just being like, nope, this is where your fingers have got to go, and you don't get an option. So we've got a nice balance with that. Up front, another big feature. SIG has their proprietary rail system that fits their lights and their lasers and all that stuff. We have a standard Picatinny rail. You are still limited by the space that you've got up here because it's not very long. But any standard Picatinny accessory that will fit in this space should work just fine. Things like the Valkyrie PL Mini 2, I believe, has been really popular for lights on there, and there's some other options. There's not a ton, again, just because it's so small, but it does allow you a little versatility where you can choose what you want rather than just using exactly what the OEM has decided is good for you. You know, we're all about freedom and being able to choose what's best for you in your situation. So we've added the standard pick rail in order to accommodate that. The trigger guard itself is largely unchanged. It's the same size as the OEM and very, very similar geometry. So you shouldn't run into any issues there with holsters as far as clamping onto the trigger guard. Again, though, note you do have your pick rail up here, which is wider than the OEM proprietary one. So you need, when you're shopping for a holster, you need to accommodate for that. So take a look at that and, you know, do what you will with it to find the right holster that fits your needs. Other things, you know, you have a small grip pattern up here as well. Place to, you know, rest your finger. I'll flip it over actually so you can see, you know, it's a little bit of a grip texture, so you've got a place that's kind of designed where you're supposed to rest your finger. On your grip, what I actually do is, you know, thumb up to, you know, kind of lock in the beaver tail. So you've got it kind of like that. And then my support hand, I actually go underneath, lay your thumb down, but up front, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm trying to work around the camera here. I like to plant my thumb in the back of this Picatinny channel. It's a great place to hold it down and reduce muzzle flip as well. So you've got the bigger beaver tail. You can lock down in that Picatinny channel, and then, you know, our square grip pattern with the exaggerated finger notch. Basically, all this is doing is you are going to be locked into this thing. You're going to be controlling it really, really well, and you aren't going to get that flip that has become so common with the micro compacts because, you know, you don't have as large of a grip to hang on to. We've, rather than increasing the size very much, we've added a little bit of weight and we've tweaked on the ergonomics so you can hang on to it really, really good. All the different versions of the 365 should work with this grip. We haven't run into any specifically that don't work. So, you know, as SIG comes out with more and more products, there may be something that might not specifically work with this grip, but we haven't run into any yet. For example, the SAS. We all know that one's very streamlined. You know, the sights are down inside the slide, and their tear down lever doesn't stick out at all, and the slide release is super, super small, which is why actually we added this channel here as well. If you see this little kind of pocket, that makes it so you can reach in a little bit deeper to operate that slide release when you're trying to lock the slide back. So, you know, this works with the standard and with the SAS, so you won't have any issues controlling it there. Overall, it just adds a little weight. The ergonomics are great. You can hang on to it really well, and it makes it shoot completely different. If you like the 365, I completely understand you want to stick with your plastic. I know, you know, everybody has a budget in mind, but this really does completely change it and make it just a completely different animal in the best way possible. Finished, again, so you got 7075 T6 aluminum, you've got improved ergonomics, you have the standard pick rail, you've got the extended beaver tail, and it's all finished up in Cerakote in-house as well. We offer it in 5 popular colors. I believe we're doing Armor Black. This is the Midnight Bronze. We have Sniper Gray, Olive Drab Green or OD Green, and FDE.